From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
American Door Company has been family-owned and operated for over 29 years, supplying Northern California with quality garage doors, garage door openers, and installed with the best service you'd expect from a locally owned company. We serve all of Northern California from Willows all the way to the Oregon state line. Give us a call today.
Well, happy Friday to you all. Who is ready for the weekend? I know I am. I could certainly use a good weekend here. And you know what? For the most part, it's not going to be bad. You know, the coast, maybe some showers here and there, but we'll take a closer look at that a little bit later. Let's get you through Kruger's Quickcast for your Friday, November 8th. Out the door this morning, temperature should be in the mid-40s for the valley, low 40s for Trinity County, and looks like somewhere in the 30s for most of the higher elevations. There's the big picture. Area of low pressure here spinning. We've got a lot of just activity. See all these clouds? This is a lot of activity kind of getting caught up in the flow of that trough of low pressure here. Cooler air associated with all of this as it kind of pushes on through, but high pressure is still the dominant feature for today. So some high clouds may filter through later this afternoon as this all pushes eastward, but this is all pushing eastward, and there is going to be the potential for some rain as early as this weekend, but Monday is really that bigger day. We'll get into that a little bit later in the deeper dive forecast, but there you can see, we'll call it around 70, give or take, for the valley today. Gorgeous, gorgeous end of your work week. Temperatures a little bit cooler as we'd expect in the mountains, and there you can see those temperatures in the upper 50s to even some low 60s for some of those warmer spots out along the coast. Let's take a look at your 7-day outlook for the valley. Look at that. Now, this is something that I've been kind of talking about through the week, that the chances for rain over the weekend are not looking all that promising. And really, now that we're getting this close to the weekend, it really isn't very promising, especially in the valley. But Monday, even the rain that we're expecting on Monday, doesn't look like a lot. And again, we'll take a closer look at that here a little bit later. Now, I've got isolated showers in there for Saturday, Sunday, but nothing to cancel any outdoor plans over. That's the case for the inland areas, and of course for Trinity County, most likely looking at dry conditions as well. We look at Siskiyou, Modoc, and the eastern mountains, mainly dry for the weekend, although out towards Siskiyou County, maybe some activity for parts of Saturday. Again, we'll take a closer look at that here in a second. Better chances coming in Monday in particular, and off and on chances through next week. All right, that should help get you out the door. Hope you have yourselves a great Friday. But now for those of you who want to stick around for the deeper dive forecast, going to the extended outlook, that doesn't look right. It isn't. I did not spell beautiful right. Happy Friday to you all. But that's what I meant to put in there, is beautiful end to the work week. Cooler and mainly dry this weekend, chance for showers this weekend, and then of course mainly for the coast, by the way, and maybe parts of Siskiyou County as well. Cooler and unsettled for all of next week. Now next week, it's going to be a forecast challenge, I can tell you that much right now here, but let's get into the fire perimeter, the shoe fire. We're now up to 99% containment. It's been at 98 for the last several days, so at least we're seeing some better containment numbers here this morning. And that may change too. Remember, these the numbers are updated usually sometime in the early morning hours. All right, there you can see those winds here for today. Hey, not bad. We're finally seeing a day where we don't have those gusty winds. Winds picking up a little bit for your Saturday, maybe even a little bit more for your Sunday, especially in central Siskiyou County here Sunday afternoon. But otherwise, the winds are not going to be the concern that we saw the last few days. Now there you can see the storm system off to our north and west right here. You see this cold front? This is what's approaching, and this is what could potentially bring us some activity here. But again, I was talking about this a little bit earlier. We've just got this cooler and unsettled weather pattern. It's shifting eastward, and that's really what's heading our way, especially for next week. So let's take a look at futurecasts through the weekend. Of course, today it's going to be a gorgeous day. We've just got some of those high clouds that may filter on through here later on this afternoon and evening. All right, so for Saturday, all right, the first half of the day is Saturday, not looking all that promising for rain. This is a very, very weak boundary. So anything we are able to squeeze out of it in the form of showers is going to be very light. But as you can see for Del Norte, Humboldt counties, the North Coast in general, best chances even coming into parts of western Siskiyou County. Let's progress through time here. You see how it just breaks apart as it pushes through on Saturday. So yes, it is showing a little bit of light shower activity for Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening for central Siskiyou County, which would include Mount Shasta. And you can see it's just trying to clip the valley. And look at this too, a little bit of activity here. So here's what I'll say about Saturday evening. The valley, Mount Shasta, if you run into a stray sprinkle, maybe you're out and about, maybe a nice little evening walk after dinner or just before dinner, that's what you'll be dealing with here, okay? And then that's all gone by 10 o'clock at night on Saturday. And then Sunday looking dry, but I will mention we could see some drizzle, maybe a passing light sprinkle here for parts of the North Coast on Sunday as well. All right, so here's the big picture as we extend it. All right, we're gonna just kind of get through the weekend. We just took a look at that here. But this is what I got my eyes on here for Monday. Now, earlier in the week, this storm was looking pretty promising for bringing us a significant amount of rain. Here the last 24 hours or so, we've been watching the forecast models really back off on the intensity of this storm. So let's take you into Monday. And you can see right here, it is pushing through, but it doesn't look all that intense. Snow levels probably between 4,500, 5,500 feet. But this right here, this is going to be the phrase that is going to be a phrase you're going to hear all next week. Cool and unsettled. That's essentially what we have here for next week. So just to kind of really help define that for you, cool and unsettled is this. You are going to experience next week, Monday, the main system pushing through. Yes, everyone's going to see showers. It's not a lot, but most of it will be off for the coast. We'll see the bulk of the rain. Through next week, you'll see breaks in the clouds. You'll see mostly cloudy skies at times. You'll see sunny skies at times. And then there will be times when maybe a passing shower will push on through. That's basically for Tuesday all the way through Friday. Now, some days, better chances for rain than others. And some areas of Northern California, better chances than others. That's why my job is so tricky here at Weather NorCal, because I'm covering such a broad area here in Northern California. Geographically speaking, it's not huge, but you have a lot of different things happening on different days sometimes, and it gets a little tricky. So, cool and unsettled. Now, you'll notice on Tuesday, there may be some lingering showers in some areas here, but otherwise not that much. Here's another storm system, very weak. That's Wednesday, kind of pushing on through, right? Going into Thursday, that pushes on through. You see how it's nothing that significant, and that continues through Friday. But bottom line, the Climate Prediction Center, really for the entire Western United States, is calling for barely within that wetter than normal conditions here. All right, so to give you an idea how tricky things are, here's one particular forecast model just kind of predicting rain through Thursday. And for all intents and purposes, really even through Friday. You'll notice in the valley, the darker green here, that's about 1/4 of an inch to upwards of 3/4 of an inch of rainfall. That's through next week. And of course, most of the rain is to the north and west. No big surprises there. And then of course, less off to the east. Now, when we look at this particular forecast model here, same footprint. Most of the rain to the north and west and less to the east. But remember, we saw 1/4 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch. Look at this. You're only talking at most, based on this particular forecast model through Friday of next week, 1/4 of an inch of rainfall. Typical cool and unsettled weather pattern that I was talking about. Off and on chances for showers. These totals are not going to be anywhere near what we end up seeing. It may be a little less. It may be a little more, or a lot more, or a lot less. There you can see up to the north and west. Again, that's where we're seeing most of the rainfall. And not out of the question to see upwards of 2 inches or so, especially to the north and west, this little area up here. But meanwhile, we're seeing less rainfall off to the east. So you can see how tricky things can get when we're looking at the long range. So remember that, especially when we talk about a cool and unsettled weather pattern. Remember when you hear me say that, or any other meteorologist say that. That means that there's a level of uncertainty on the timing and the overall intensity of anything that pushes through in the longer range. And it gets really tricky. So if you're saying, hey Mike, what can I expect on Wednesday? Unsettled. That's the bottom line. You may see a shower, you may see a sprinkle, you may see dry conditions all day long. It depends on where you are, depends on when these systems push on through. That's the bottom line. And the thing is, I could sit here and say, it's going to happen this way, it's going to happen this way. We can't do that for sure. I mean, that's just, especially with a pattern like this. Cooler than normal conditions here is what we're looking at here for the long range. And check this out. I mean, look at that. Around 70 here for your Friday, mid-60s for your Saturday, Sunday. Look at this. I mean, really, if we just averaged out all of next week into that next weekend, we're talking temperatures around 60 degrees. That's almost 10 degrees below normal through all of next week. And that cooler pattern is a sign of the unsettled pattern that's moving in as well. All right, so there you can see here for today. Looks like the wave heights aren't all that bad, but by the time we get into Saturday, we are going to see those wave heights actually start to rise, and that may be the case going into your Sunday as well. So the wave heights, especially if you're in a small boat, they are expected to unfortunately get a little bit worse over the weekend. But today, south winds at 5 knots, just that patchy morning fog, otherwise no small craft advisories. So here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Those temperatures right around 70 for those daytime highs. Cooler spots like Mad River, 63 and 68 degrees in Ruth. 7-day forecast, I mean, I could sit here and talk about every single one of these, but you get the idea. Saturday, Sunday, not a big deal. Even if you see the showers there for the coast on Saturday, Sunday, don't cancel those outdoor plans because anything you do see will be light and it won't last for very long. That's also the case, especially for the north inland areas, northern Humboldt County, and not to mention Del Norte County as well, but southern Humboldt County most likely dry through the weekend. But then we take a look at your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, minus maybe an evening sprinkle. Otherwise, it is dry through the weekend, and then, of course, better chances for rain on Monday. Today for Modoc County, temperatures low 60s, dry all weekend long is what I'm thinking for you, and without really much in the way of chances at all. And then Monday, you got a better chance for that measurable rainfall. Eastern Mountains, there you can see, again, mainly dry through the weekend. We're talking about a chance for showers coming in Monday, off and on chances through next week. Your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by Walgamith Painting. Your temperatures are going to be in the upper 60s. 69 for Corning, 69 for Willows, and Gridley about 67 degrees. Take you up north, right around 70 for Redding down to Anderson, 66 for Whiskeytown, and Lakehead, a high of about 67 degrees. So let's take a look at that 7-day outlook, and that's what we're calling for. Dry conditions through the weekend. Maybe, just maybe, a passing sprinkle Saturday evening. Otherwise dry with mid to upper 60s through the weekend. Better chances for rain on Monday, but at this point now it looks like it's not going to be a ton of rain. I'm expecting, at least at this point, dry conditions for Tuesday, Wednesday, then maybe a chance by the end of next week. That is your morning update. Of course, I'll continue to monitor the latest forecast models, so be sure to check in at noon and then again this evening at 6 p.m. Until then, have a great morning.
At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too. Because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.